Hello, Bretta.
Hello, Mr. Haas.
Did my test report come in?
Yes, Mr. McIntyre dropped them off today. Here you go.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Oh, Mr. Haas, there's a meeting in the boardroom. They're waiting for you right now.
Thanks. So this is going to be an attempt at a little tour of the Lego fort that Andrew and I built back in when we were in middle school slash probably the beginning of high school. We used this Lego fort to make the beginnings of a stop motion Lego video, which you just saw, and we'll get on with the tour. So the Lego fort basically started out as an airplane hangar in the very beginning. It was much smaller. I think it was just on a little piece of just a one platform and not all of these platforms. Inside the Lego hangar, which has had multiple different versions of doors, we've got one of the original Lego airplanes. This thing's been revised so many times, but you got your pilot, and if you lift up this flap, you got your basically your secondary guy, your operator with a radar room. Maybe he was in charge of weapons, who knows. So this could go back in there. Close these doors up. The Lego hangar, our airplane hangar, needed a bathroom, so we had one of this original add-ons. There's like a little door here, and I'll open the entire wall up, make it easier to see. But inside here we've got our little Lego guy using the bathroom. He's got his commode and sink, and a nice light fixture on the ceiling. Close that sucker up. On top of the bathroom was the power room. So basically this is supposed to be a little miniature power plant. This guy's sticking in a fuel rod. He's got some spare fuel rods off to the side. Some other power generation equipment. Pretty typical. So if you move to the side from the back of the fort, you'll have basically the prison system. In our world, we had lots of Lego pirates, so we made them the bad guys. You would, at gunpoint, be forced to, if you caught a new bad guy, be forced to walk up here, come up here, go around the edge. I only got one hand, so I'm going to just show this with one hand. He'd sit down in here. There's a little thing that is probably, I don't know, give him some mind control or something. The little lid would come down, the light would go red, and then if we pulled the lever, he'd get dumped. So we called this the dumper. The prison system would put you all in a basically big holding cell. If you wanted to get into the holding cell to see all the prisoners, you could open up the entire wall. Can't see them in there, but too dark. You got all the prisoners all in the holding cell. If you come around to the side here, we've got access to the boss man himself, the main bad guy. He was a Captain Hook. Stick him back in there. Close this up. Let's get his chain back. Get nice and locked in there. Now, if you left the airplane hangar, if you were on the airplane hangar for whatever reason, you wanted to get over to the side, you could take this monorail. Go over to the little monorail pavilion. Room for one in the monorail. Underneath the monorail pavilion was the gas station and a paddy wagon. Paddy wagon was, I think, one of our best designs we ever created. It had room for the driver, and as you might guess, in the back, some pirates. Room for two. Put the paddy wagon back. Now we're going to come over where we left off. If you we're on top of the airplane hangar. One of the last rooms that we ever built was the top secret room. The top secret room had key card access, and that would get you into the door, and you could open up the entire roof. It's basically one of Andrew and I's general principles, is we wanted all of our buildings to have roofs that you could completely open so we could get into everything. In here you've got basic accoutrements, recording equipment, a telephone. If you look in here, we've got the key cards from the key card drop. It's having a hard time focusing. Off to the side here, if you were to pop this little lever here, this whole fake wall would come out, and there's a safe, complete with little Lego money. And then perhaps the coolest thing ever was this top secret table. And the top secret table had swivel out keyboards. And if you pulled this lever down, there's a little pop-up secret computer screen. This is one of our best things. So I'll close that up. Take us over here. And we got an entire row of buildings. This row of buildings was, we'll start off on the far right. This one's kind of independent, and here is the inside of this building. This was the missile silo launch station. Some instruments in there. If you open up the missile silo top, we've got a little missile that could come out. In the Lego movie that we were making, we were going to be launching a satellite into space, so there was a little missile launch sequence that involved this rocket. It was going to launch a satellite that was going to be part of a GPS system that was going to be used to help some killer robots navigate. But that part of the movie never got made. In here, we've got the forensics lab. You can see him analyzing a knife, and on the left there's a little electron microscope. If we just remove these buildings, the tops of them, so that you can more easily see in there, you would come in through the front entrance. There's the receptionist with camera, and then off to the side here, excuse me, we've got a little room with a window, and then two perps sitting there so that someone, basically a lineup, so someone could take a lineup on that. So let's put the roofs back on, the top buildings back on. In here, we have living quarters, or more or less, this is a little dinette area, and a nice stove. And you can't see the burner, but the burners are on. And here's the sleeping area. And we got 3 beds with 3 lights and a separate bathroom. No showers. If you were to take this ledge over, you'd enter into the Bossman's office. So this is the head honcho's office. He's got a telephone, a big chair, some tribal artifacts, and a big bay window. So you can see him in the bay window. If you go up his little stairs, you can go into this other little room, and it's basically a conference room for more or less secret conference room meetings. The floor of this conference room is the battery pack that runs the gate. So unfortunately I can't change the batteries very easily because there's a building built on top of it. So the batteries are dead. Underneath is Bossman's limousine, airplane tug, and 3-wheeler. Oops, 3-wheeler. Put that off there. We also have our own little ATM machine because that would be important. There's the last big building is the one that has the gate. You can get on in. You could drive on in, as you saw in the video. And this little elevator would lower down, and the car could roll up on that, and then this elevator would bring the car back up so that it could come to the parking garage and park. And the elevator would then lower back down. If you wanted to get to this upper area, which is where the airplane, helicopter launch pad is, a little peephole portion of the elevator would lower down. You can get that to bring you up here. In this room here, on top would be where the helicopter would land. I don't have the helicopter for some reason anymore. In here we've got yet another receptionist. So she's just kind of sitting there. Not a lot for her to do. That's a receptionist. The helicopter landing pad is on top. There used to be like a Skyrail system built here, and I will point out that it went all the way around the entire thing, but Andrew hated the Skyrail system. So for the sake of this video documentary, I have removed the Skyrail system to keep this thing in more of its pure form. One of the last things here is along the side of the main airplane hangar, we've got a garage door opens up, and in here is the remote operations vehicle. The remote operations vehicle opens up pretty significantly because no one wants to deal with sticking their hands in tiny doors. Opens up, we've got basically a SWAT team. Andrew and I painted them with, they were basically spacemen. We painted them to look more camouflagey. We took the pirate muskets and painted those, and cut the bell off, the muzzle, so that it would look more like a shotgun. So get your remote operations vehicle with driver. Slide that on in. Close the door. Not really necessary. And underneath this area here was the last airplane hangar. The original airplane hangar, or the original airplane, was kind of my airplane, and then Andrew wanted an airplane, so we built him an airplane, and we got him his own airplane hangar. It's a little smaller, but this airplane was designed to have wings that could pop off, so they, for storage purposes, of course you can't do it with one hand, but the wings could pop off, and a little refueling capability, so we could go do a mission and refuel mid-air, up in the air. So that is a little junior airplane. So I think that's pretty much everything. Got the little Lego fort that Andrew and I built, and just quick little documentation. Take care.